Jay and Silent Bob have given me so fucking much. You know, 25 years I've been earning off the backs of Jay and Silent Bob in one way or another. And you know, it's a passport to the world. It's taken me everywhere. So it's been quite a life, and you know, and on the back of Jay and Silent Bob. So it's kind of like a, oh, well, here, thank you. You know, I get to make a movie where they grow, well, Jay particularly, gets to grow up.
Lady, Jay and Silent Bob are at his house.
Holy shit. I played the character of Justice. When we first created her, it was all about how Justice is blind, so she wears glasses. It's just been so much fun being a part of a Kevin Smith film and this universe, and to be asked back, I was really excited. So I'm so happy to be here. I think Jay and Silent Bob appeal to a group of people that can be like them. They can be stoners, they can be chill, but then it appeals to other groups as well. And that's, I think, the beauty of it, that there's a little bit of something for everyone in it. And now that marijuana is legal in most places, it probably appeals to even more people. But how times have changed since the first one to this one, you know? Like, it was such a different thing then than it is now.
All right, the name is Ted Underhill. Not Ed. Ted! Ted! You know, Jay and Silent Bob still, to this day, have an appeal for so many audiences, and I think the reason is you can find a little bit of someone you know in both of those characters. If you're familiar with the stoners at all, you certainly can see that in them. But then there's also a very clever and resourceful side, especially to Silent Bob. And they're enormously likable and they're easy to root for. And I think film audiences have just latched onto those guys. And there's some characters in film, especially recurring characters, that when you see them up on the screen, you're just happy to be visiting with them again. And I think Jay and Silent Bob are like that.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody, it's Chris. Give it up for Chris, man.
Obviously, there's such a hardcore built-in fan base for many years, but I think of it similar to the way, you know, the comic book fans, you know, people have sort of grown up with these characters, and I identify with those characters for many different reasons on personal levels and so on, but yeah, I feel like there's a shared experience over a big passage of your life with those characters. As I said, the same with, you know, relate to people who've read the comic books and then, you know, come in and see the first Thor film or the first Captain America film and Iron Man, and right up to the 22nd film that that Marvel have done now. And so it's a big part of people's lives.
Everyone say yay! It's Jay and Silent Bob.
I think Jay and Silent Bob, I still find Jay and Silent Bob appealing because they remind me of a time in my life where I was falling in love with movies. They were in movies that meant a lot to me as a teenager into my early 20s. And so, yeah, there was an innocence and playfulness to them. And they're almost like, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, but they're a bit like cartoon characters. You know, they're like beloved cartoon characters. They're like old vaudeville characters that are not afraid to be big at times, but they're still believable. You know, it's very rare for like live action performers to be able to do that, and that's why I like them. I can't answer for anybody else.
Docket number 37, People v. Jay and Silent Bob.
I play Bailiff Billy in the courtroom of the Honorable Judge Jerry, and executioner played by Craig Robinson. Well, there's like a stand-up comedian aspect to Kevin. You know, he's got that kind of vibe. So, and I think out of maybe any director I've ever worked with, Kevin is like the least precious about everything.
What's up, Ranger? All's well?
He's brilliant. He knows his stuff. He's funny, and he's just got that way about him. You know, he talks to you like you been friends for 30 years.
People on bail.
Hey, Jerry.
How you doing?
So we, the people, would hope that Your Highness would remand custody. Cool? My character is called Prosecutor. Jay and Silent Bob encapsulate so much of what people love, and I think that Kevin has a way of writing where everyone, it's like funny and well-meaning at the same time, which is really, it's just sort of like universal.
Peekaboo! Ah! We always have a good time with that, don't we?
Every decade has certain characters or cartoons or bands or whatever that become iconic with that decade. I think they're a product of their time that was able to transcend into this decade. I always say that to make a successful character, you have to be able to dress up as that character on Halloween. And you could be Jay and Silent Bob, like married couples or, girlfriend, boyfriend, or two dudes or two chicks or kids or whatever you want. You could do that. And you could make a cartoon of these guys, and you can make dolls of these guys.
Pop up, titty twist, have a line, stand up and run.
Okay, do you want to still tell me or like just
That's everything they taught me in film school.
I'm Robert Kirkman. I'm the creator of The Walking Dead, and I'm doing a panel about The Walking Dead, which is something that I had to really train for because it's something that I've never done before in my life. But I'm doing this panel, and Jay and Silent Bob sneak in.
That's it?
No, I mean, there's other stuff too, like eventually Carol eats Daryl. I mean, I think that they're hilarious for one, but they embody a fan base. They embody comic book fans, and they became popular at a time when comic book fandom was kind of blowing up in multimedia, and they really kind of shepherded in a whole era of acceptance with comic book fans. I know that, the reason I started watching Kevin Smith movies was because all of my comic book buddies that I knew at the comic shop were like, oh my God, there are these movies where characters talk about comic book stuff and they make like really weird specific references that only we get, and like it's hilarious and it's totally great. And I think him bringing that to the pop culture has kind of embodied them as a part of this. And so anytime comic books are popular, it always kind of funnels back into Jay and Silent Bob, which is really cool.
I have a question for the real Jay and Silent Bob. I've been at this point on a lot of TV sets, a lot of movie sets, and Kevin's sets are the most fun. It somehow manages to be completely professional while also being unprofessional, if that makes sense. He's just the greatest guy to work for and with. And they say it starts at the top and goes down, so everybody's cool. If you look at everything that movies are doing today, the shared universe, the continuity, the characters popping up here and there, multiple actors playing multiple. So to me, it's just like Jay and Silent Bob are indicative of Hollywood caught up to Kevin. He created these characters, this mythology, this continuity that is just people love. They adore it, especially geeks, especially film nerds, especially comic book, of which I'm all three. And Kevin handed that on a silver platter with like these foul-mouthed, crazy characters. I mean, they're genius. It's what used to be a fat guy and a skinny guy doing comedy. It's classic. I don't know, man. They still mean this much to me, and it's been 25 years.
Glad you wanted to stop. No offense, but cigarettes are kind of strong.
We ain't smoking cigarettes, we smoking that weed.
I would say my character is like the equivalent of an Uber driver, a Lyft driver. I just give the guys a ride across to Hollywood. He's kind of like he's got tater tots in his car instead of offering chewing gum and stuff like that. So it's a very I think like most roles in this movie, it's just like a fun, quick thing, and I'm psyched that I get to do it. I've worked with Kevin Smith before. I worked with him on Cop Out, and his sets are a lot of they're very pro fun and very relaxed, and he really wants to get the fun out of a scene, and that's it. He just wants to shoot the part of it that is enjoyable, that moves the story along, that's loose but not too loose. Because even though some of it seems sort of improvised, there is a script that he wrote that we all stick to.
Assalamu alaikum.
This sounds like baby talk.
No, that's just talk, baby. I play Jihad. She is a Syrian refugee who was originally born in India, but is currently living in Missouri at the time that she's picked up by Millie and Soapy and our two very knocked out lead characters. The girls all met on an online forum for, girls who lost their dads, or don't know their dads, I guess. Jay and Silent Bob, I think, are incredibly appealing, and have always been for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, they started out as side characters, in Clerks and Mallrats and all these things, but they were just so magnetic. Every scene they were in, they just stole. They're so funny, they're so interesting. All the characters kind of, they might have their own roles, but once those two are on the scene, they steal the spotlight. And I think that's also, whether it's they're on screen for 10 seconds or a full movie, And I think the reason people are still kind of interested in them and curious about them is there's an air of mystery. I mean, what are these guys doing? They've hung out outside of stores. They've, road tripped across the country. They've met God, I think, in one movie, right? Dogma. They've met God. They've done all these crazy, wacky things. And so there's always this question of, what are these two guys doing? And I think for that reason, because they're so out there, because they're so funny, because they're so, charismatic, and you can't stop looking at them, combined with that element of mystery, I think that's why people still love them to this day.
What's this creepy rain shit?
I play Shan Yu. From the beginning, people are gonna think that, oh, it's another timid Asian girl who doesn't speak English, the typical thing. And for people who don't understand any sort of Chinese, that's probably exactly what they're gonna think. I'm actually speaking both Cantonese and Mandarin, from time to time, mumbling, with the recorder, while everyone thinks that I'm translating the dialogue between, the rest of the cast. I'm actually, it's breaking the fourth wall. I'm just talking.
Any one of you girls wearing catsuits under your clothes?
And then eventually, it's revealed that my character is actually a Russian spy. And so it's a completely different character. And so it'll be fun to see what people think when that happens. Oh no! Hello! I've already caught. Oh no, come here.
Walk your hands back. Walk your hands back.
Whoa! Hey! The dynamic between us girls, it's funny because we met everyone on set for the first time on our first day. Immediately we all clicked. It was kind of magical in a way. We all got along really well, and I think that chemistry shows when all of us are together. When I see us take stills, I was like, wow, we look like a group.
So my character, her name is Millennium Falcon, and she is the daughter of Justice and Jay. Working with the other ladies in the girl gang was an incredible experience. They truly changed my life in such a major way. Trishelle really, I feel, changed my life in such a huge way. I felt like it was such an honor and a privilege to be able to learn some ASL for this movie, and to be able to work with her so closely. And we kind of had this really special relationship where, if I was signing something that didn't look right, she would totally tell me and be like, hey, you look stupid, you're not signing this right. And if it got too chaotic and she couldn't understand what was going on, I would always make sure that I told her in case she wasn't able to get it. So we kind of really looked out for each other the whole time on set, which is something that I've never really experienced before.
Hearing is so fucking overrated.
Fuck yeah!
I feel so in the middle because I understand what Silent Bob feels like. It's I'm team with them, but then I will betray my girl group. We're so cold. I feel so neutral. The way Kevin said, I feel this is my home. All he asked was, bring your stuff. Be you. And the family vibe, it feels like there's no judgment. You just be yourself. Simple. You don't need to be pretending to be anybody else but yourself.
Wait. Find your light. I can't. The light isn't
Nick?
Well, basically,
Which
someone
way?
says that's not Kevin Smith,
Yeah.
and then you can knock off like.
We get to see you chew the scenery.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Remember
Aparna and I got yelled at multiple times because we kept doing this thing that they would do on Drake and Josh, where they would like start across like on two opposite ends of a room and like run into each other and chest bump and be like, hug me, brother. And we kept doing that on set, and in the first AD, Dano yelled at us.
Why cut to Brody saying stuff? You guys gotta. We don't have us. You guys look. You guys are saying. So you said talk. I say that.
My dynamic with the other girls is super great. I've known Harley for a couple of years now. We actually worked together on like a one-day project, and then I butt dialed her a week later, and from Disneyland, and she was like, "Oh, I love Disneyland," and we started talking, and then literally it was the fastest friendship, and she's become one of my closest friends as well, which is crazy. But you know, by proxy, Kevin's seen my projects, my other work and everything, and so I guess one thing led to another, and I got put in this movie somehow. I don't know how I got so lucky, but in the process, I met Trishelle and Alice, and I think everyone in this little group of four is so outgoing and fun, and we just really click, which is crazy because we haven't known each other for that long. I think like within the first couple of days, we were already such a little squad, and I think that also speaks to who our characters are in the movie as well, although in the movie we're more extreme personalities in a different way. But I really, really, really am so grateful and so happy that this group of girls is who ended up working together, because none of us met before except for me and Harley. I mean, none of us had a chemistry read or anything. It just kind of worked out.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Where are your badges? Nobody gets in, as the French say, sans badge.
My character is a security guard here at ChronicCon, but works as a security guard all around the country. So it's really his job, but it's not his dream. Kevin's sets are so different because they're so up and positive and sweet, and he has such a nice demeanor. The way he introduces everybody and the way he finishes a scene, talking about coverage, we're gonna have a good time. All of that never happens on anybody else's set. And it's, the primary reason why I'm back. He runs a really fun set.
Hey, security Dick.
Oh, don't tell Mom the babysitter's dad's Keith Coogan.
Just Keith.
Thanks, that's really hard to say.
I help distract Diedrich while he's the big dick security guard, keeping Jay and Silent Bob from the VIP area. I guess I'm one of the VIPs. And I help distract the guards so that Jay and Silent Bob continue in on their quest. For me, be able to watch Kevin be both Silent Bob and direct was a trip. Because he'll step out of that role real quick. He'll go, no, we're going to bang this and then bang that and come around. And he's sitting there trying to save time, trying to save money, trying to edit on the fly. He's wearing so many hats. So it was a great opportunity to see how he really works. And it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. There's also a lot of love. He is, so on top of a professional, quick, awesome set, he's just communicating with the whole group and showing how much he appreciates everyone that's coming and doing this. And I rarely see that. You get a nice note at wrap, all right, it's a work finish on someone, and usually they clap. This, it was great attention and love all day long.
What the fuck, Sarge? This son of a bitch doesn't have a dick. He's got a fucking dick. He just got it tucked in.
My character is a cop, an overzealous cop, a high energy cop. I don't know if he's trigger happy, but he has a lot of fun. And I think my character in this movie will go down as one of the most recognizable and politically correct police officers in the world of policing. A noticeable difference between Kevin Smith sets, his production, everything, is that you always feel like you're working with family. He introduces himself as a cool guy. He acknowledges everybody from craft services to the DP to the first AD. He's just a dope dude and make you feel like you're not even working. It's like, I'm gonna have fun and eventually I'll get paid for it. I think Jay and Silent Bob in the last decade, they've been able to stay relevant.
they've been able to continue to make people laugh, and they've been able to represent a culture that people enjoy.
I know you're in there. Come out right now.
Interestingly, I am playing the seminal character, kind of central figure to the film, the Nervous Cop. Nervous Cop is the backbone of the story. He's kind of the central figure in the drama. And he is a shaky, the shakiest gun in the East, if you will. Jay and Bob are still so appealing for lots of reasons. First and foremost, I think, is the way that they really appeal to kind of the religious right in America's heartland. I think that they really speak to the evangelical community in a way that a lot of entertainers don't anymore, out of fear of maybe, I don't know, ostracizing themselves against liberal Hollywood. I am really proud of the fact that these guys have continued to just hone their bodies, their voices, their characters in a way that, as I was seeing on set today, it's like they've taken just kind of the physical prowess of what Jay and Bob represent, and they've magnified it. It's exponential. It's exciting.
So, you guys know how you do this shit. I have no idea. Okay, come here, guys. All squad time. Lights up your face like an angel. Happy Chronicon!
I play Clerk. The whole gang is coming to Chronicon, and I work at the Hot Topic pop-up shop, and I'm just trying to sell my wares, my Blunt Man and Chronic paraphernalia. I think they're so self-referential that they are constantly able to maybe not reinvent themselves, but certainly reinvent the context in which they're in. He kind of encourages you to do what you want, which is fun. He definitely likes people to come in and put their stamp on it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kawish. You little kids looking to mainline some of that sweet-ass, that bomb-ass, dank, Blunt Man and Chronic merch?
Kevin's sets are a lot more fun. He also watches a ton of playback, which I like a lot. You know, I like leaving going, I know what I did, and I know I saw it, in fact, and so I don't know exactly how it'll cut together, but I can leave confident in, you know, or not in what I left there, but I would rather know than not know, personally. And I don't know, he's just a consummate gentleman. I mean, he makes everybody feel good. He's out there talking all the extras and stuff, and it's definitely one of his natural habitats, being in a crowd. I mean, I don't know, he's got a lot, he's such an affable person. I mean, I would say his natural habitat is kind of being in a crowd, talking to a crowd. I've seen him, you know, his kind of stand-up shows where he's doing a Q&A for 2 hours, 3 hours, but he's also great in a podcast or a one-on-one. We've had like great conversationalists. So I don't know how I got on that, but how are Kevin Smith's sets different? They're higher.
Go ahead and show your pride with our exclusive and inclusive B and C LGBTQ T. Check it out.
This is the all-inclusive and exclusive Blunt Man and Chronic LGBTQ T-shirt. They're kissing lovingly, and that's important. I mean, you know, there's also room in this world for pure hedonism or pure physical pleasure, but I think it, you know, there's clearly a lot of love in this embrace, and the fingers are doing something kind of in the O that's kind of nice. And I don't know, very woke.
Got blunt.
Got weed. Holy shit, Sound Bob, look, it's Method in red.
I've been on a lot of sets. His is it's similar to a couple of other sets I worked on, especially when it's for one, it's comfortable. But when, you know, you can be as loose with the dialogue as possible and just have fun, those are always the best sets, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't worked on too many sets, but working on the Kevin Smith set, just seeing how quick we got done with our, I mean, besides us being dope-ass dudes,
you know what I'm saying?
doing the job right and coming in and giving them everything we want, I like a director, because that's my goal. I want to direct. I like a director that can see the potential already and see what it's been filmed and be happy with it. Because he know how it's going to be in cutting and editing.
I want to show you a magic trick where I
take one clap and make 2 dicks. Miss Mackenzie!
You want a burger for lunch?
No thanks, I just ate some vegan.
My character is Mary, and I am an employee at Movies. I'm a fun employee, actually. Not even an employee, a fun employee. Let's keep it fun.
Welcome to Movies. What are you in the mood for today?
Man, everybody here on set is so just chill and fun. I think Jay and Silent Bob have stood the test of time because it's like a buddy comedy to its core. There's so much heart between them, and also it's sort of like, it's still like old-timey, like it's vaudeville, and it's like you know, silent movies in some way. So there's something about it that's in some way nostalgic from even before it even happened in the 90s, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that's why I think it's timeless. That's really what it is.
What does it take to work at Movies? A fucking hideous outfit, that's what. Like, no fun cat suits for me this time. Oh, no, no, no. Purple Movies, shiny jacket. Good times. With Reboot, I felt, as with all of Kevin's other movies, it was a very chill, informal wouldn't be the right word to use, but it was a happy set. People became friends, they went out. We were in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. You know, folks start to run around together, and that's what Kevin and I always really enjoy seeing, because it does become very family friendly. And this time around, we had a very, very strong female producing team. Liz, who we've worked with before, of course, and Tracy Landon, Jordan. They're women that they're excellent at what they do.
Kevin's a lot more collaborative than many directors, and in the sense that he'll rewrite things or restructure things very quickly in order to accommodate the schedule or accommodate what's happening. I also think that because he's an editor and he's editing this movie in particular, like, he knows exactly what shots he needs. So at the same time that he's like, with the DP, he's like, do whatever you want, have creative freedom. He, at the end of the day, if we're running out of time, he's like, I don't need that and I don't need that. Like, we just need to get these 3 shots, which is highly unusual. Most people want coverage on every single shot. And I think that he gives a lot of the keys, a lot of creative freedom, where he doesn't sit with them day in and day out and like, I like this, I don't like this. He just does reviews and helps them along the way, but gives them a lot of ability to do what they need to do and bring their own like viewpoint to each movie, which I think is cool.
Yeah, it's very empowering.
Yeah.
So going back now 25 years working with Kevin, my history of many different characters in Kevin's films runs the gamut of View Askew world. In the original Clerks, I play the one and only Dante Hicks, portraying, from what he is told in person, him, the guy behind the counter of that very convenience store, the Quick Stop. And then throughout the other films, in the Mallrats edition of the View Askew universe, I was Gil Hicks, suitor number 3. How you doing? That was a lot of fun, being at the end climactic scene, so to speak, of the film. And then moving on to Dogma, where I was reporter Grant Hicks. The thing about Kevin is, like, it's really cool. I mean, Kevin is Kevin. What you see on camera, if you ever see any of his live shows or any of his comedy shows especially, that's Kevin. He's chill, he's relaxed, he's very funny. That's how he is on set.
Well, I hate the present so much, it's like they want to retreat into the past. All of a sudden, all my old bullshit is back. And some of that old bullshit meant the world to me when I was starting out.
We follow up on the story of Clerks and see where Dante is in his life. We follow up on Mallrats and see where Brody is in his life. We follow up on Chasing Amy and see where Holden and Alyssa are in their lives.
Oh, I'll tell you what our necks are doing in Hollywood. We're here to stop that fucking reboot from happening. So take us to Kevin James.
My character is the same character that I played in Chasing Amy many years ago. I play Holden McNeil. This is like my little franchise, my Kevin Smith franchise. It's just like being in another kind of franchise, except they don't pay you any money.
Holy fuck, they got you mixed up in this reboot shit too?
You sound like my agent. Jay and Silent Bob are not still so appealing. They're not appealing. It's guys, they're old. It's sad. It's terrible that I'm here as part of this tragedy now. I think that Kevin's, I don't know, like, one of the most common things people still say to me in my life as I go around on the streets is that I was the bomb in Phantoms, which is a line that Jay had in an earlier movie, and it haunts me to this day. So I don't know why they're still so appealing. I wish they weren't. I wish I didn't have to hear that so much, but I do, and that's just part of my cross to bear.
Ben is a massive fucking presence. Like, he don't look like Holden anymore. He looks like the guy that fucking ate Holden and then benched 4,000 pounds. Like, fucking, and he needed to eat Holden to fucking the protein to become a god. Like, he's a fucking movie star. So Holden was less so. So, you know, suddenly you've got a guy that looks completely out of sync with the rest of your movie. Like, Jesus, what happened to Holden? Like, I guess he got a gym membership. So Melissa layering him up and making him look like Holden kind of takes the emphasis off of, like, he looks like a superhero.
Hi, remember me? I'm Loki, the angel of death from Dogma.
I had a couple of roles in Kevin's. I played like an MTV executive in another one, but with like a couple lines. I just tried it in the 90s when Ben was doing all these movies with Kevin, like I just tried to get in them any way I could. And then after Kevin executive produced Good Will Hunting, I remember we were on the set of Good Will Hunting and Kevin offered me Loki. So it was the first time he offered me a real job, a big job. They are reminiscent of a time, and you know, and maybe you know, I think it's partly nostalgia and partly they just struck a real chord that they can still kind of strike today. You know, they're funny, they're you know, you buy into their relationship, and kind of they're two guys you want to go on an adventure with. I mean, that's my take on it.
I said, you know, we got a chance to use Matt, but I really have nothing left for him in the movie to do. And Jennifer goes, how come you never think about using him as Loki? Loki was a character he played in Dogma. Like the biggest character Matt ever played for me in one of my flicks. And, you know, I was like, because Loki died in the movies. And that's when I stopped myself going like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, go write a Loki scene.
So after the events of Dogma, I guess you could say I was born again. And what you're looking at now is, wait for it, my reborn identity. Oh shit, pun game on point. You just got touched by an angel, son.
I think what's interesting is that they're not the same characters that they were. And we're not the same people that we were, right? We're 20 years on, and you see that in their performances. You see that in how they look, right? Kevin doesn't look like he did. Jay doesn't look like he did. They're completely recognizably themselves, but there's a wisdom that they can't escape, right? Because life happens, and there's something really interesting about these characters that are technically or any other way kind of very childish and you know, make dick jokes and things like that. But they couldn't, you know, despite their best efforts, they couldn't help growing up and gaining wisdom and deepening. And like you see that in Jay's performance. You know, Kevin showed me, you know, some of the stuff, and it's just like, Jay couldn't have done that 20 years ago. And it's not like he was trying to do it now. It just happens now because that's what happens when you get old. you just, life takes on these things take on a deeper meaning and they strike you in a deeper way, and you can't help it, despite your best efforts to remain childish.
But I've always dreamed of meeting my dad. Just hanging out. Nothing monumental. Just drinking coffee together or something, like, talk to me like he was my dad.
I think that all movies and films and TV shows and projects do have to draw from the artist's life, or lives in this case, whether they're the actors, directors, writers. And so I think when it comes to Jay and Silent Bob dealing with parenting, I'm not surprised it happened. It's not something I would have first expected when the movie was announced, but now that I'm working on it and have read the script, I can't see it going any other way. I mean, Kevin has such an amazing relationship through his amazing daughter, Harley, and Jay does as well. I mean, his daughter's very young and she's so sweet.
She wants to know who Daddy's talking to.
Hi, little pink sugar heart. Mwah.
Okay, Jay and Silent Bob dealing with parenting, they do in real life. Kevin is not your stereotypical parent. And now Jay, of course, is a parent as well. And that man puts my helicopter parenting to shame.
He had a daughter, you know, Logan, 4 years ago. And he's the most amazing fucking dad. I wish he had had a kid before I'd ever had a kid, because I could have taken notes. Like now in retrospect, I look back and I'm like, oh man, fucking, it would have been nice to have him go first, because you would have learned how to do it properly. Do this good, and then we can play.
Logan on set. It was stressful but amazing. Logan came to set, and of course it's great because I wanted her to see the world work, our work, if you will, my and Mommy's work. As much as it was amazing and awesome to have her there, I'm a, you know, as they say, I guess, a helicopter dad. So it was awesome, but it was also tough because I was so concerned with her being hurt and everything else.
Once you become a parent, you're not the star anymore. You're the stage. I'm just here to prop up my kid so she can put on the show of her life, like my parents did for me, like theirs did before them.
I have to say I was quite moved by what he wrote me for this movie. Like, it seemed very much a very honest appraisal of what life's like as somebody who in the creative world and field and is used to sort of creating their own things and that being the center of their life, and then all of a sudden has a child and you know, learns sort of that there are things that are more important than your own creative visions, and that's, you know, the children that you have and the responsibility and the obligation and joy and all that stuff that goes into it.
And I thought you'd be upset if you ever found out who the father is.
Wait, why? Who's the father? Is it Silent Bob?
No, Jay. It's you. I don't think I ever would have put Jay and Silent Bob and parenting together in the same movie. No, I don't think I ever would have thought of it.
I mean, it's not a subject matter you think you would find in a Jay and Silent Bob film.
I wrote an article for the New York Times about how Jay and Silent Bob would never deal with parenting. And in the article, that's all I said. I was like, they will never deal with parenting. They won't talk about it. They won't bring it up. It won't be presented to them. And I was wrong. I didn't think they would.
It's very, very big of you to admit when you're wrong like that.
It's by admitting that I'm wrong, I'm also bragging about the fact that I'm a writer for the New York Times.
I never thought a Jay and Silent Bob movie would deal with parenting because it seems like a truly terrible idea.
25 years ago, the answer would be, fuck no. 25 years later, with people becoming dads and people not in the strip clubs anymore, and their wild side is gone, it's just a part of evolution. At some point, we all gotta fucking grow up. And nobody wants to accept it or realize it, but Jay and Silent Bob had to grow the fuck up.
I don't know a lot of stuff, okay, but I do know this is, you're a great fucking kid, and some asshole really missed out on being your dad.
Thanks.
I mean, at a certain point, Jay and Silent Bob have to deal with parenting. They have to. Because you can't go through life as long as they've been going through life completely irresponsible, completely high all the time. Talking about the characters. Well, I guess I'm talking about Kevin too. And not father a child. It's just impossible. That level of irresponsibility leads to children.
I mean, it's kind of the natural progression that this Jay and Silent Bob is dealing with parenting. It makes a lot of sense, and I think especially because they're both parents now, that it makes sense that they are exploring that, and I think it's really touching. I've seen the end of the movie, and it's really sweet.
I don't know if I would have predicted that it would have been Jay and Silent Bob, but knowing how nostalgic of a person my dad is, I think that it was definitely inevitable for one of his films to have a reboot with their children. He's an extremely emotional guy, so I would definitely be able to guess that somewhere down the line he would try to bring that nostalgia back, just from his sensitive little heart.
The idea for her to play Jay's daughter was there from the jump. Like, oh, it's going to be Harley, which is, you know, one of the jokes in the movie. Like, wait, so the director's daughter is playing, Silent Bob's daughter in real life is playing Jay's daughter in the movie? Because I get that on Instagram all the time. Anytime I put a picture of me and my kid in the comments section, a lot of people be like, I don't know, bro, she looks a lot more like Jay. You might want to have a conversation with your wife, you know, because she got blonde hair and shit. And so for years I was like, ha ha ha, go fuck yourself. And so finally I leaned into it for this movie. I was like, she sure does look a lot like Jay, and for that reason, she's going to play his long-lost daughter in this movie.
I told my dad, and I was like, do you think that it's maybe like kind of weird that some people show up in the movie as their characters from past few Skew Universe movies, and then some actors who have been in other movies are coming back as different characters? And he was like, no, I can follow it.
And who's directing this shit anyway? Kevin fucking Smith? Are you fucking kidding me? This movie is doomed!
Well, I play Jason Biggs.
I was Jason Biggs playing Chronic, and
I was James Vanderbeek playing the fake version of...
Right, fake, yeah.
I don't even know.
God, there's so many layers, man.
It's so meta.
This is like the comedy Inception.
Yeah, it really is. It's just universes unfolding.
No shortage of ego. Kevin Smith playing Kevin Smith in a Kevin Smith film. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. No shortage of ego. Man's feeling good.
Ladies and gentlemen, the director of Blunt Man v. Chronic, Kevin Smith.
Everybody's proper Smith for that legend, Kevin Smith.
I wrote Kevin Smith in because between the time that we did Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and now, Kevin Smith has become fairly well known. So like in a world where when we do these flicks, we call in every fucking favor to get a cameo and shit like that, I was somebody that had an audience that we could get for the movie without being like, can you come down to New Orleans? I was already gonna be there. So it was fun, like to be the guy that people would come to and like, wait a second, did Jersey Girl happen? I was like, yeah, Jersey Girl happened as a movie, but like, you know, Ollie Trinke is not a person that Jay and Silent Bob knows, other than as a character from a movie that Kevin Smith made. And they're like, and Jay and Silent Bob know Kevin Smith? They're like, well, they don't know him, but they've fucking heard of him. Like, they never met him before, and he hasn't really been a factor in their lives, but, you know, he's just like some people have heard of Kevin Smith in this world. Some people have heard of him in that world as well, but he's a non-factor for them.
A reboot, boys, is when Hollywood wants to make a lot of money without the hassle of creating a new movie. So they take an old movie and change just enough to make you pay for the same shit all over again.
Those greedy fucking animals.
Oh, it's insidious.
And the joke being like, you know, it's the same fucking movie. Like, the first movie was Jay and Silent Bob find out Hollywood's making a movie about them, they go to Hollywood to stop it. In Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, Jay and Silent Bob find out Hollywood's making a reboot of that old movie they made about them, so they have to go to Hollywood to stop it again. And kind of like, you know, a little bit to the establishment, not like, let's tear it down, but just, you know, thumbing our nose at like the system and whatnot.
Kevin's timed it, I think, perfectly because we are in like the reboot, remake sort of like peak, right? The golden age of reboots, because no one can think of anything original anymore, or no one will give money to anything original. And like, so to take this movie that was already kind of a sort of a goof by his own admission, and just and be able to sort of now make a story that is funny, but it's got this kind of heartwarming sort of storyline to it.
Just change it in some minor way, but enough. It's like it's kind of what Kevin wrote in the script. It's like, you know, change the gender of one character. You know what I mean? You make it different enough that you got to see that you get to do the same thing again, and it just, I think, feels safer. And the budgets have gotten so high that I think there's less appetite for risk, and so that's why you get the kind of movies that get made versus the kind of movies that were made, say, in the 90s when we were making these.
Hollywood thrives on safety and security.
It's a business that is a complete crapshoot as far as something, if it's going to be popular or not. So to have that little nugget of something that exists, doing a new shark movie that's unknown, we don't know if that's going to go well, pumping millions of dollars into that is a very terrifying prospect. But doing a remake of Jaws, there's some safety there, there's some security there. And so it's the path of least resistance for Hollywood.
I think Hollywood likes reboots because they work. There's the formula there. A lot of movies, it's like a crapshoot. It's alchemy. You can have the perfect place, perfect setting, perfect script, perfect cast, perfect director, and for some reason it's just a piece of shit. It's like it's weird. The audience doesn't connect to it.
I think it's as simple as they're proven commodities. If you notice, and I could be wrong, they're not as infatuated with remakes of movies that haven't performed well in the past. So, although that'd be kind of fun to see, like a remake of Simon Birch or something. But I got dibs on Simon Birch if they do that. But I think it's definitely ripe for satire. So this would be fun to see.
Well, Hollywood's infatuated with lots of things. I mean, certain parts of the body, certain parts of, my body. But I think that rebooting, because we know that booting is so effective in the beginning, when you reboot, you are just kind of upping the possibility of making it bootylicious, bootific. I think that there's so much originality in Hollywood that one of the things that's really exciting is seeing when people take something that's been done time and time and time and time and time and time again, you want to see it done again. And I think that's fascinating.
See, everything's fear-based. Everybody's afraid of losing their job. Everybody's afraid of looking stupid. So it's easy for a person who worked all their life, now they're an executive at a movie company, and they got a wife and they got kids, and they just want a paycheck like everybody else. They could take a risk on something, or they could just be like, oh, fuck it, let's just make that again. And it's easy. So I think that it's just fear-based and people just wanting to protect their asses. That's why there's so many of them. Makes sense. And not for nothing, but I don't mind. I'm a continuity whore. I like reboots. I like sequels. I like remakes. I love all that stuff. So I know people look down on that stuff, but I love it. I love it. All right, this reboot is bullshit. Bullshit. What do you guys think about this reboot?
Hollywood is infatuated with remakes and reboots, but it's not a new phenomenon. Cecil B. DeMille would remake his own movies just 2 years after he made one. And we kind of dipped in that. And there was a lot of original productions from the 30s and MGM's kind of assembly line way of making films. I think we've kind of ran out of ideas after a while. We had a lot of original ideas, and now we're back to making sure that we're serving something the audiences like, a known property the audiences are going to, I'm going to buy that ticket opening weekend. So I know it's a safe bet for financiers to go, oh, it's a known property, we got so many fan base, a book or a TV property we turn into a movie or a play or something like that. So it's dealing with known properties.
Me and Silent Bob are going to Hollywood to stop these fuckers from making a movie about us.
Sounds familiar. I think Hollywood really likes remakes and reboots right now because it's probably run out of ideas. There's so much has been done. But I think there's a nostalgia to it as well. We are seeing TV shows from when my generation was a kid being remade now. And for my generation, it's awesome because of the nostalgia. And for a new generation, they don't know about the old one anyway, so it is new material for them. So it just works.
People say there's a lack of ideas, and on one hand, yes, there's suppose a lack of ideas, but on the other hand, I don't know. I actually, maybe it's a cheap part of me, but I kind of enjoy it. I'm not too mad at it, not as mad as some other people. I get a cheap thrill when I know the remake. I was just reading on my phone a minute ago, fucking doing He-Man. I was like, cool, yeah, great.
The generation that I grew up with, that Kevin grew up with, we saw all the original stuff, and now it's type of to get the millennial generation and younger into these type of great storylines. That rebooting it is a way to get, I think, that kind of fan base involved. Because when you especially show something like the original Clerks to a younger generation now, it's like, it's a black and white movie. Why am I sitting with this? What's going on here? What's a video store? You know, you got to explain some things like that.
There are oftentimes, you see a lot of filmmakers, creators who have a lot of heart in these projects because they grew up with it and they love it and they want to kind of put their own flair on it. And I've seen remakes that I actually really liked, or sequels or spin-offs or whatever that I would never have expected that I loved, and it's all because the creators loved that project so much and they want to keep it alive and then find some way to appeal to their up-and-coming audiences.
And it's also a great way to bridge the gap between two generations. It's nothing like watching a movie that you grew up with that's a reboot that you have an opportunity to watch with your kids.
It's familiar and it's nostalgic, and we love the first thing, so we can sort of bet on it and count on it, and it makes us probably feel a little bit secure in an upside-down world.
Yo! If we can't stop this reboot, we might as well watch this reboot. Get your VIP badges right here.
There's kind of this nostalgia that people are feeling right now because I feel like we're kind of living in a small nightmare at the moment, and so people are looking back to times that felt more comfortable to them and felt safe, because right now it doesn't always feel that way. So I think that a lot of people are looking to go back to the past in a way when things were better and happier and more lighthearted.
Right now we're in a time where anything that's nostalgic feels really comfy and comfortable and cozy in a way that we all need. And so I think a lot of things are coming back because we just want to be reminded of a simpler time, and a time when we were maybe a little bit more blissful and perhaps a little bit more naive. But yeah, I think that's why we're all embracing these remakes and reboots, and I can't complain. I love it. So yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Partially, I think it's the times that we live in. I think we live in uncertain times, difficult times, sometimes depressing times. And you want to revisit with old friends sometimes. There's a comfort that comes from material that you're familiar with.
Why is Hollywood infatuated with remakes and reboots? I want one part of the interview to look really thoughtful. That's all. Wow. Yeah, I guess they are. You know, a lot of early film was done sort of in Belgium and Germany, and I think a lot of their remakes, they really worked hard on redoing things, and I think it was a matter of trying to get it right. And I think that's what's going on with Hollywood right now. It's like we're trying to get it right. In my opinion, I think the Star Wars films are, to me, they're sequels. I've always seen those as sequels. And I've always seen Jaws 2 as a sequel. And I've always seen the Scream movies, in my mind, they seem like sequels. Hence the number. Now, you asked me, why is Hollywood infatuated with remakes and reboots? Well, I ask you, why the infatuation with Hollywood being infatuated with remakes? I know the answer. Your answer is going to be, oh, well, because we want to reflect and reminisce on past times. You're right. Yes, okay, great. You won. You won the debate. Here's my answer, is that the answer doesn't matter. Film, TV, streaming, radio, podcasts, live concerts, spoken word, albums, CDs, cassettes. These are all things, and they all exist. When are we all gonna get up off our asses? And I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry. But when are we all gonna get up and sit back down again?
So now what do we do?
This movie has been like a family home movie. Every day on set, there was someone from our past, you know, maybe that we hadn't seen for years. And it sort of has that feel to both Kevin and I and to Harley. You know, of course, a walk down memory lane. So I don't know, aside from our personal home movies, I think maybe Reboot might be at the top of the pile here in regards to so many fun, familiar faces coming back that meant a lot to us emotionally as well as professionally.
On the last day of filming, he did talk about how this film really was kind of his everything, and it wasn't until that last moment that I was like, this is kind of like his purpose being fulfilled. He felt like he had to come back for a reason, and this was it, and he did it, and I just felt so happy for him because I know how much it meant to him and everything it symbolized, and so I just felt so incredibly thankful that he was able to do this film, and it was really like his dream come true.
Rock. All right, fuck it, man. That's a picture wrap on Jane Silent Bob. When we got into the flick, you know, it was weird. I've been waiting to make this movie and like, you know, really struggled to make it. The first one like came together way easy. It was so easy in those days. This one took 2 years to pull together, so when it happened, finally, I was like slobberingly grateful, appreciated it a lot more. This is the only way this movie was getting made. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't just make, like, Jane Silent Bob go on another adventure, smoke weed, say pussy a lot, and credits. Like, it had to have some, like, I'm 48. Like, I've done some shit now. The guy that made the other movie was like, what do we want to do this time? Let's just do a movie. Like, they really liked Jane, Silent Bob, and Dogma. Let's give them their whole movie. Like, it'll be fun. And we got so much shit on Dogma, religious shit and whatnot. It was like, let's just make a movie where nobody gets mad at us. Fuck. Like, and who's gonna get mad if we make this movie? But this time around, it wasn't that. It wasn't like, let's just fucking, as a lark, we'll make a Jane Silent Bob movie. This time it was like, all right, you're gonna make a Jane Silent Bob movie, but you're gonna make it work. You're gonna make it, and not that the other one didn't, but like, you're gonna make it work for you in this day and age. It just became more than I thought it was going to be. And now it's this weird statement film. It's not just like, you know, I just want to make a goofy movie and shit, run around with a long coat again. But it turned into this kind of testimony of my life, both personally and professionally. It's filled with the people I've spent my life making pretend besides. And it's filled with my family, you know, right down, my wife's in there, of course, my kid's in there and stuff, Jason, who's like my other kid. My mom's in it. At one point, you know, I'm behind my mother and she's dressed like Silent Bob. So I get to work with got to work with friends and family. Like it was just, there was more to it than the first time.